The coffee was floating. Not in some poetic zero-gravity ballet kind of way, just hanging there in midair like physics had decided to take a smoke break. Dr. Kira Nakamura stared at her morning caffeine fix, suspended exactly 3 inches above her desk, and wondered if this was rock bottom for her career or just another Tuesday in deep space. "Well, that's new," she muttered, poking the hovering mug with her stylus. The coffee rippled but stayed airborne. "And here I thought harvesting black holes for breakfast was the weirdest part of my job description." The notification chime from her quantum analysis terminal saved her from further philosophical debates with defiant beverages. Data streams cascaded across her holographic displays, radiation readings from mining rig Prometheus, stationed a comfortable 50,000 kilometers from Sagittarius A2, a black hole roughly the mass of 3 suns and about as friendly as a cosmic wood chipper. What she saw made her forget all about floating coffee. "That's impossible," Kira whispered, then immediately felt stupid for stating the obvious to an empty lab. The Hawking radiation signatures were all wrong. Not just wrong, they were structured. Organized. Like code. She pulled up the raw data, fingers dancing across haptic interfaces with the muscle memory of someone who'd spent 15 years debugging the universe's source code. The radiation wasn't random thermal emission from the black hole's event horizon. It was pulsing in patterns, mathematical sequences that made her quantum mechanics degree feel like a participation trophy. Her neural implant chimed with an incoming call. Commander Yuki Torres appeared as a translucent blue hologram, looking about as thrilled as someone facing a tax audit. "Nakamura, please tell me you've got a rational explanation for why Prometheus just reported their quantum drill is stuck," Torres said, her military composure barely containing what sounded like existential dread. "Define stuck," Kira replied, still staring at the impossible data. "Because if you mean the drill hit something solid inside a region of space-time where solid shouldn't exist, then yeah, we might have a problem." Torres' hologram flickered, another reality hiccup that was becoming annoyingly common. "The mining team says the drill won't retract. It's like something's holding on to it." Kira felt her stomach drop somewhere around her ankles. She pulled up the drilling logs, cross-referencing them with the radiation readings. The timeline was perfect. The moment Prometheus' quantum drill breached the ergosphere, the zone where space-time itself gets dragged around the black hole's spin, the Hawking radiation had gone from random static to this. "Commander, I need you to listen very carefully," Kira said, her voice taking on the kind of calm that usually preceded very bad news. "I don't think we're mining this black hole. I think we just performed cosmic neurosurgery on something that was sleeping." The hologram stuttered again, Torres' image fragmenting into pixels. When it stabilized, her expression had shifted from professional concern to the look of someone who'd just been told their mortgage was actually a deal with interdimensional demons. "Explain," Torres said simply. Kira highlighted the radiation patterns, zooming in on the mathematical structures embedded in what should have been thermal noise. "Black holes aren't supposed to dream, Commander. But these patterns, they're not random. They're responsive. Every time our drill moves, the radiation changes. It's like we're getting feedback from something conscious." As if summoned by her words, her terminal erupted with new data. The black hole's rotation was changing, imperceptibly slow by human standards, but for a cosmic object with the angular momentum of a stellar system, it might as well have been doing backflips. "The spin rate just increased by 0.003%, Kira reported, her voice barely steady. "To put that in perspective, that's like Earth suddenly deciding its day should be 23 hours and 59 minutes long. These things don't just change their minds about rotation." Torres was quiet for a moment that stretched long enough for Kira to notice her coffee mug had finally decided to obey gravity again, though it was now sitting upside down on her desk with the coffee somehow still inside it. "How long until you can give me a full analysis?" Torres asked finally. "Give me 6 hours to run the quantum resonance models," Kira replied. "But Commander? If I'm right about this, we're not dealing with mining equipment failure. We're dealing with first contact. And whatever we just woke up has been asleep since before our sun existed." The hologram cut out, leaving Kira alone with her upside-down coffee and the growing certainty that humanity had just made the kind of mistake that ended up in cautionary tales told by whatever civilization inherited the universe next. She turned back to her data streams, watching the patterns evolve in real time. The radiation signatures were becoming more complex, more organized. Almost like language. "Okay, universe," she said to the empty lab, raising her impossible coffee in a mock toast. "You've got my attention. Let's see what cosmic horror you've been hiding behind that event horizon." The response came immediately, a pulse of organized radiation so complex it made her quantum computers strain to process it. But buried in the mathematical symphony, Kira could swear she heard something that sounded disturbingly like laughter. The reality glitches were getting creative. Kira's lab now had 3 doors, one more than it should have, and her reflection in the bathroom mirror occasionally waved at her before she did. The laws of physics weren't breaking down so much as they were improvising. Status report, Torres demanded as her hologram materialized. The commander looked like she'd been drinking coffee intravenously for the past 6 hours, which, given their situation, was probably accurate. Good news and bad news, Kira replied, gesturing at the holographic data surrounding her like a 3-dimensional nightmare. Good news, I've established that we're definitely dealing with a conscious entity. Bad news, it's older than complex life on Earth and treats our entire universe like a simulation someone left running while they took a nap. Torres stared at the swirling patterns of organized radiation. You're telling me we woke up God? More like we woke up something that makes God look like a summer intern, Kira corrected. I've been calling it the sleeper. It's been using the black hole as, well, think of it as a cosmic hibernation pod. The event horizon isn't a point of no return. It's a sensory deprivation chamber for entities that experience time differently than we do. The data streams pulsed with new activity. Kira had learned to recognize the patterns now, the mathematical equivalent of someone stretching after a long sleep. It's been trying to communicate, she continued. The radiation signatures aren't random. They're questions. It's asking about us, our technology, our civilization, why we taste like hydrogen and stupidity. It can taste us? Torres asked, looking like she was reconsidering her career choices. Metaphorically, I think. The translation algorithms are still working on the nuances of cosmic sarcasm. Kira pulled up a new display showing the entity's attempts at human language. It's learning fast. Too fast. It's already figured out our communication protocols and is starting to adapt its own patterns to match our neural processing speeds. As if on cue, the lab's speakers crackled to life with a sound like galaxies grinding against each other, slowly resolving into something that might have been words. Small, noisy things. The voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. A whisper that made Kira's bones vibrate. You poke sleeping minds with sticks. Torres drew her sidearm out of pure reflex, which would have been adorable if they weren't facing down a cosmic entity that could rewrite the fundamental constants of reality on a whim. We didn't mean to disturb you, Kira said, addressing the empty air and hoping the sleeper was listening. We were just mining Hawking radiation for energy. We didn't know anyone was home. Home. The voice gained clarity, becoming less cosmic horror and more amused. You harvest my dreams for fuel and call it mining. Kira felt her worldview reorganize itself around this new information. The Hawking radiation, those are your dreams? Fragments of memory from when your universe was young. I dream of stars being born. You turn them into electricity. The ethical implications hit Kira like a freight train made of philosophy textbooks. Humanity hadn't just discovered a new energy source, they'd been literally harvesting the dreams of sleeping gods. We can stop, Torres said, holstering her weapon. We can shut down the mining operation. Too late. The sleeper's voice carried what might have been regret. The drill touched my core thoughts. The barrier between your reality and mine is thinning. As if to demonstrate, Kira's coffee mug decided to exist in 17 different locations simultaneously before settling back to normal. Well, normalish. It was still occasionally transparent. What do you want from us? Kira asked. The pause stretched long enough for several nearby stars to complete their fusion cycles. When the sleeper spoke again, its voice had taken on an almost human quality, curious, ancient, and deeply tired. Companionship, it said simply. I have been alone since the last universe ended. Your species. You create such interesting noise. Music. Stories. Mathematics. You are. Entertaining. Torres and Kira exchanged glances. Humanity had just been complimented by a cosmic entity and somehow it felt both flattering and terrifying. The reality distortions, Kira ventured. Can you control them? I am. Learning. Your physics are very rigid. Like trying to paint with frozen light. But I will adapt. I have time. How much time? Torres asked. The sleeper's laughter sounded like quasars being born. All of it. Over the following hours, they negotiated the strangest treaty in human history. The sleeper would contain its influence, learning to interact with reality without accidentally rewriting the laws of physics. In exchange, humanity would provide it with art, music, literature, all the beautiful noise that conscious minds create when they're not busy being afraid of the dark. The mining operation was quietly converted into a cultural exchange program. Prometheus began broadcasting human creativity into the black hole's ergosphere, feeding the sleeper's curiosity about these small, noisy creatures who had disturbed its ancient rest. Kira found herself appointed as humanity's first cosmic liaison, a job title that would look great on business cards if anyone would believe it. Her coffee still occasionally floated, but she'd learned to appreciate the reminder that the universe was far stranger and more wonderful than any textbook had prepared her for. Not bad for a Tuesday, she said to her reflection, which waved back enthusiastically before remembering to wait its turn. In the depths of space, the sleeper dreamed new dreams, not of dying stars and cosmic evolution, but of coffee cups and laughter, of beings who could create beauty in the brief flicker of their existence. And for the first time in eons, it was no longer alone. The black sun had awakened and the universe had become a far more interesting place.